Good afternoon, everybody. We still have people joining. Um, we're going to have probably around 30 participants today. So I'll give them another minute and we'll get started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure others will be joining as we go along. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. This is our first webinar during this COVID event, the coronavirus. I'm sure everybody is interested in what we're doing to work remotely. Um, Today it's myself and IntelliPoint's Derek Wilson, our senior engineer. He'll be on the line as well, and we'll be answering questions at the end of this. So we're going to go ahead and just present some best practices, some tools and tricks that you can utilize for your working remote, for your workforce and your team. So, but first of all, I'd like to thank everybody, everybody who's attending. We have clients, also some other associates and colleagues on the line here, and just wanted to thank you for our customers and clients. Wanted to thank you for your patience during this event. I know a lot of you have been moving team members off site to work remote, work from their homes. We've been working diligently with everyone to get you set up and rolling. And we've got a lot of good feedback from clients, from everybody that everything seems to be working. There's going to be hurdles and hiccups because a lot of people haven't worked remote. And again, a lot of the pressure on the internet systems in different locations is really going to take a toll as well. But together, we can weather this storm. Agenda. So today we're going to talk about setting up your workspace. I know a lot of you already have your workspace set up, but we're still going to talk about that for best practices. Staying connected to each other, managing your time and well-being, and then what we can do as IntelliPoint to help you out. And just initially, just a little housekeeping. Everybody's on mute while we go through the presentation. And then if you have anything you want to interject or ask questions, both myself and Derek are going to be monitoring the chat. So if you notice in your bar, there's a chat button. So if you click on that and just type a message to either myself or Derek, we'll answer. Or if it's a question that comes up during the presentation, we'll answer those at the end. And if you have to leave the meeting, down in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a red where it says leave meeting. Just click on that and you can leave the meeting. If you do want to come back in, if you do have to leave the meeting, you can just you can click on the link and join right back in. Okay, with that, we'll get started here. Let me change one thing here. And then I think we're good to go. All right. So setting up your physical and virtual workspace. So your physical workspace, just want to make sure that you are in a location. Most everybody's in their house if they're working remotely. That you're working in a location that is that's a secure workspace. You may not necessarily want to work within your garage or basement. may not be the best location, but just make sure you could be working here for a while, so make sure it's a good, secure location that you're working from. And also choose a location that is that minimizes disruptions, because I know a lot of people have, excuse me, have children home from school, or spouses or others that are off work as well. So a kitchen area may not be the best location, or a family room. Try to find a location that is that minimizes your distractions. And then also a place for all your equipment and materials, someplace where it's not going to be disturbed, where you can lay everything out and make sure that it's a readily available location for your workspace. We ask that our clients that brought equipment home, headsets, you can see I'm wearing a headset today, um, that you have your headsets, or you bring your telephone from your office home, or even other equipment, that you have it set up, and it mimics a lot of what you're able to do at the office in your home workspace. Setting up your virtual workspace, use your best connection, because again, Wi-Fi is not the best connectivity for you to do consistent work for the workspace. If you have the capability, a wired connection is the best. So if you have a Cat5 or Cat6 cable and you have access to your router, or you have a switch in your home, plug your computer directly into that router switch. If not, Wi-Fi does work. Other things as well, other equipment, printers are always printers and scanners are always devices that sometimes have hiccups when you're running remotely. So if you can wire those directly to your computer, that helps tremendously as well. And just because you're working from home, you really need to take more concentration and aspects on being secure. So, excuse me, the systems that we manage, we have the security solutions already on those systems. But if you're using a home computer, make sure that you have security built into those. And we have some offers that our vendors have been really great to be able to provide, that we're going to talk about later on in this presentation, that we can offer our clients. And then mobile when you need it. So if there's times, again, the internet providers systems are going to be taxed at times with a lot of people working at home. If you have cable internet, it's a shared system. Other people in your neighborhood are going to be using those systems, and the bandwidth at times is going to be bogged down. So if you have email, if you have a phone app, like our Telecare, our telephone system has an app that you can run on your smartphone. Make sure you load those onto your phone so that you have access to those in case there's overload on the internet solutions that you're using. As well as if you really need to get on the internet and your internet is down, if you have on your phone, if you have the sharing or hotspot availability, you can use a hotspot to get on the internet to get work done as well. Get your video ready. When we have meetings like this, and I'll ask everybody to turn them on later, but when we have meetings, have video on if possible. Just makes you be present in the meeting. You can read then facial expressions. It's hard when you're having meetings with just audio and there's multiple people. It's good to have video on as well. And check your surroundings. So if you have things going on behind you that can be distracted to the people that you're meeting with, there are capabilities within the different conferencing software where you can blur the background, or you can put an image behind you. I think Derek's going to show that a little later here, where he's going to have an image behind him so that you can see how that works. And then camera framing. Just make sure that you're framed within the camera, that everybody can see your face. Your eyes should be about 2/3 way up the screen if possible. And staying connected to each other. So it's important working in a remote environment that you communicate often, reach out to colleagues, have ongoing conversations, and make it fun too. So a lot of these chat systems like Teams that we use, and we'll talk a little bit more about Teams and Zoom, um, you can interact. It's similar to texting where you can have emojis and memes and things back and forth. So have a little bit of fun with it too. Um, and so again, just stay in contact with everybody within your organization and your colleagues. Collaborate. So the tools that we have, the Teams tool is one of them. There's other tools as well where you can share documents. If you have Office 365, which a majority of our clients have Office 365, you already have the Teams tool. We've talked about it in different quarterly meetings and annual meetings. You probably get tired of us talking about it, what a great tool Teams is. Now is a great time to introduce that tool if you haven't already. It lets you collaborate with your teams. Excuse me. So if you have a spreadsheet that you're working on, that allows 2 or more people to work on the same spreadsheet at one time. Word documents, PowerPoint. You want to share screens. If you have maybe an accounting software up that you can share the screens and walk through different scenarios or transactions. It's very, very helpful, very powerful. In some ways, working with the sharing of software is even more powerful than being in person. I'm sure a lot of you have had events that have been canceled, personal events. You can switch a lot of those to digital events. So think about that you may be able to put on digital events, such as this one. And then the virtual huddle. So it's just common nature for us. We've done a huddle for, shoot, I don't know, 6, 7 years, where every morning we come together as a team and we huddle up. We have a set agenda we run through. So every morning we're on a video huddle. We do it right at our desks, so it's quick and easy, and everybody gets aligned and what's going on, what happened yesterday, what's going on today, and any help that we can assist with our teammates. So the virtual huddles are great. And then include, so be present and respectful when you're in a meeting. That's why the video is important. I'm sure you guys have been gone to a conference room in a meeting and somebody brings a laptop and they put it on the conference room table and they're more concerned in the computer than they are in the meeting. It's even more so in these virtual meetings because somebody can be in a meeting but working on other items. So just ask you to be present in the meetings and pay attention. And when you're in meetings like this too, just the digital audio, you'll notice at times there will be a pause or it's easier to speak over other people. So just be cognizant of that as you're on more of these digital meetings. You'll get more familiar with it and understand it. So just be cognizant that you can be talking over others and just pause and let people have their turn. You have to be a little bit more diligent when it comes to that. And then monitor the chat. So in this meeting, there's a chat, again, as I mentioned, that you can go ahead and send messages to myself or Derek, and we can answer them right now, or we'll do the question and answer at the end. So manage your time and well-being. Share your schedule and signal availability. So again, a lot of people aren't going to be in the same location, so you may not know if they're available, not available. What's nice about tools like the Teams, it'll integrate with your calendar in Outlook. And so it'll show whether you're available, not available, busy. You can even set notifications. so that you're notified of important messages or chats. You can even do calls. So there's even calls that you can do within the system. And then the other thing is set boundaries. So if you're at home, as Derek and the team will tell you, when I work from home, and it's easier for us to work from home just because of the technology, and we've done it before. So we have a dress code that's business casual for our office. It's easy. I mean, you could wear your pajamas and come to work and get to work while you're working from home. I dress as if I'm going to the office. So every morning I get up just as if I'm going to the office, business casual, go to my office. My family knows that, when work time it starts, when work time ends. So, we set boundaries, be clear with them, and let them understand what what's expected when you're working, and others may be working as well. We have my daughter's home from college. She has online classes, so we've been clear that she has her room. She has a workspace set up. She's really basically going to college as she's working from her room. My wife has a room in the basement and an office set up down there that she's working on, and I have my office here. So it's working great. It's working great for us. Take care of yourself. It can be, you can lose track of time and work when you're working from home. So don't forget to take breaks. Get up, get outside, take a break, take a walk, get some fresh air. And sometimes it's hard to delineate work life when you're working from home. So make sure that you take time to energize but also pay attention to your life and family obligations. So again, there's a balance there. And then check in with others. Some people are working alone. I mean, they're all alone in a house, so they're spending, or an apartment, by themselves. And so make sure you're checking in with your colleagues, checking in with your family, but also check in with yourself. Make sure you're not getting anxious or overwhelmed. And that's why it's important also to check in with your colleagues that are working alone. So make sure that they're okay, they're doing well, as well as your family members. And then you as a manager, just make sure you lead by example. If you're working from home as well as others, just as you do in the office, just lead by example. You're going to be implementing some new communications, some new tools, new ways to work. There's going to be hiccups along the way because it's different. Just support everybody that involved. Support your end users. Support everybody so that over time, people are going to get used to it. There's going to be some challenges and hurdles, but we'll get over them. We'll all get over them together, and just check in periodically. It's not as easy as walking down the hall and peeking in somebody's office. So give them a call, send them an email, send them a chat, whatever. Just check in on them periodically. So I wanted to talk next about how we're able to assist you. For those of you that don't have Microsoft Office 365, the Microsoft Teams subscription, Microsoft is providing that to all businesses free for 6 months. Now, for those of you that have Office 365, and I know that quite a few of you are not familiar with Teams, it's a application that allows you to chat with team members and groups. You can schedule meetings. It can be a meeting in the future. You can do an ad hoc meeting. You can do all the collaboration with it, whiteboarding, screen shares. You can call team members. If you've heard of Skype, they've integrated Skype. Skype is now part of Teams, so it's not a separate package, it's part of Teams. So you can be within Teams and make phone calls directly to the people, video phone calls at that. It can be video or they don't have to be video, one way or the other. And you can share and edit Office documents, and it's really pretty cool. I mean, if you're working on an Excel spreadsheet and you have 3 or 4 people, you can talk at the same time that you're editing the spreadsheet, and you can see people in the different cells and making edits to it while you talk about it. And that's one of the areas that I say is, this sharing and collaboration is even more powerful by using technology. And then again, you can integrate it with a lot of Office 365 tools, the Outlook calendar for presence, SharePoint for documents, because you can set up teams and channels. You can set up channels within teams. And a lot of this is you probably don't are not familiar with, but once you get using it, that you can have a channel for maybe the I don't know, the service department, and you have certain team members in for the service department. You have files associated with the service department, or your leadership team, or whatever. You can set up different channels within these groups, and you can set meetings, SharePoint documents, all kinds of pertinent items around Teams. So again, if you're interested in setting up Teams, contact me or one of our team members, and we'll look at implementing the Teams product for you. And again, Microsoft is offering it for a subscription for 6 months for free around this COVID event. Sophos, which is our main security vendor, is offering endpoint protection. It's Sophos Home Premium, which is a very powerful product where a lot of people are working from home computers. They may have a free version of antivirus or something of that nature that really doesn't cover well what the necessities are. Sophos is now offering, during the crisis, in 30-day increments, free endpoint protection. And it's artificial intelligence is built within it. AV web protection even has parental web filtering. And then it has a lot of enterprise class security, like ransomware and phishing, helps protect against ransomware and phishing, identity, banking, and privacy protection. It's a really great product. After the 30, 60, or 90 days that we have it in place for you, hopefully by that time we're back in the office and working. You can keep it if you want to pay for it, but if not, Sophos has a free version of it, which is really very good, a very good product on its own. It's one of the top rated endpoint protections in the industry. It can revert back to the free version of it if you'd like. Another vendor of ours, SolarWinds. So a lot of our clients that we've already set up to work remotely. If you're not one of our managed clients, but you'd still like to take advantage of working remotely and you don't have any options, the tool that's built into our tools and into our main tool for management, which is through SolarWinds, is a remote tool called Take Control Plus. They have a 90-day free license that we can offer, and it's a completely secure connection that conforms to all regulatory agencies, HIPAA, GDPR, PCI, all those regulatory bodies, and also has the capability to do two-factor authentication. And then, so what we could do is we could assist you getting that in place so that you can run applications on your Office PC securely. And that negates, what we don't want to do is run a VPN from a home computer per se that we don't manage or that's not managed, because then that opens your network up to potential breaches and malware infecting the network. So we really don't want to do that. The other one is, and our managed clients have, most of our managed clients that have our CyberCare has the cybersecurity training. So we can offer for remote workers and really anybody during this period, at least the training, the cybersecurity training for the remote workers. And they have added some content for the COVID because there's a lot of scams already taking place for these hackers trying to get the remote workers to give them access to their their office networks. So the cybersecurity training I really highly recommend. It's great for you, those of you that are managed clients that you've used it. You know that your team members, we can monitor and manage those team members so that they understand what to do in situations like this. And also what we're looking to do is webinars like this through this period, and hopefully we'll continue it after. So what we'd like to look at is tools and systems, so deeper dives like the Zoom that we're using here, video conferencing. This is the Zoom meeting. The Microsoft Teams collaboration tool, our voice over internet protocol, the telephone system that we provide, which is great because the majority of our clients, if they have phones on their desk, they could take them home and plug them into their network. Most of them will work, just right off, just plugging them right in. Some will, involve a couple tweaks here and there, but most of them will just work. So we're looking at having deeper dives on that. Security and around working remote, remote access tools. What's the difference between RDP, the take control, VPN, what works for you, and then others. If you have interest in any other deep dives like that, please let us know and we can look at scheduling them. And we're looking at next Tuesday at the same time at 2 o'clock, so keep an eye on your email. We're going to do Microsoft Teams deeper dive. If you're interested in that, we'll have a webinar set up for that. And the other thing I wanted to let you know too is we have a remote work policy template. If you're interested in implementing a policy, if you don't have a remote work policy at this time, we can provide that for you, and we can help you set that up for your team and for your company. So if you're interested in that as well, let me or one of our team members know, and we can provide that remote work policy for you. And again, we're here for you. During this time, that's what we're here for. So don't hesitate. Or, the different ways here. Send us a support request, support@intellipoint.net. Call our West Virginia office or Cincinnati office. And then we also have the portal that's on our website. So this is the top of the home page. If you see an upper right-hand corner where I have circled in the green, customer portal, you can log into the customer portal and you can submit a support request there too. What's neat about the customer portal, as many of you know, is that's where you can see all support incidents. You can see projects, you can see knowledge base, you can see all your invoicing if you have rights to see that. So the customer portal is a really great resource as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'll do that here in a second. I'm going to allow everybody to unmute themselves if you have a question. So if you see in your bar, you'll see at the far right where it says unmute and has a line through it. You'll be able to click that and unmute and ask your question, and we'll answer the questions and as best we can. And then once you're finished with your question, if you wouldn't mind just remuting yourself so that we can move on to the next. And then if you have any specific question that's just specific to your company or remote work, it'd be great if you just do that one-on-one. So these are more general questions around working remotely and all that. But if you have anything specific, like working a line of business software that you use and only you use, if we could take that offline, that would be great. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute, and if anybody wants to go ahead and turn on their video, that's fine. And again, at times, if you're in meetings and working remotely, if the internet connection gets a little suspect, turning video off will help that. But if anybody wants to share, then we'll go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and unmute. Let me stop the share real quick. Okay. All right, everybody's unmuted. If you don't have a question, go ahead and mute, but if you do have a question, chime in.
Dennis, just for everyone out there, I assume you're going to share the link to sign up for the email if anyone's interested for their personal use after the web meeting.
Yeah, if you're interested in any of those free offers, you know, the Teams, the antivirus, the Take Control, the security training, just send me an email and we'll get everything scheduled and send you a link. Oh, and by the way, see Derek there? I was talking about the backgrounds. See his background? He's changed his background there, so he's got a background that's a great background. I love that.
Yeah. It's just a wall behind me now.
Oh yeah. All right. Anybody have any questions?
And just to add to the free Sophos antivirus for personal use, for the clients that we've submitted a long list of domains, and that's how they qualify you to sign up for it. It's really quick and simple. You go to a link, sign up, put your email address in there. It's going to be your company work email. And what that does, I actually just signed up for it for personal use myself, and it looks like it's going to be good for a year. So I know they originally told us 30 days and they can renew it, but I just signed up for it and it's good for a year. So if you've got a home computer and you've been putting off purchasing your antivirus, right now is a good time to put a product on there that we trust. And it's a company that we highly respect as far as security, and we use a lot of their products. As most of you guys know, you've heard the Sophos name before. So, but.
So did I answer everybody's questions in the presentation?
I have a question. I was just wondering, we tried to have, well, we did have a meeting on the Teams yesterday, but you could only see 4 people at a time. Is there a way to get the entire group on the screen in Teams? Was there some setting we weren't using? There were, I think it was 7 or 8 of us on the call. And when someone would start to speak, then their picture would show among the 4. But the people who hadn't spoken for a while would not be visible.
At this time in Teams, that's a limitation of Teams. That's on the roadmap to be added to the Teams. That's one of the reasons I like using Zoom with larger meetings, because you can have, I think you can have up to 49 pictures at one time on the screen.
And and the limitation to the free account, just to add to that, on Zoom free accounts, I think they're limited to 45 minutes. I think there is a limitation to participants as well. But what was it, Amber? We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Yeah, she's muted.
Yep.
I can unmute her.
There we go.
There we go.
No, it's not unmuting.
Okay, it's 40 minutes.
What is it again?
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay, there you go.
But the meetings that I did today and yesterday, they allowed it to go longer for free.
Okay.
So
okay,
that's that it's like complimentary. We'll let you keep going. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions? How is working remote going for the people out there that are working remote? Good.
Come on, Tammy. I know you've got some thoughts to this. She's muted. I don't understand.
Not letting them unmute.
There you go.
It said the host muted me, Dennis.
Sorry about that.
We basically got the whole company, both here in West Virginia and down in Georgia, working remote, and it's worked really well so far. We've got our phones at home, we've got our laptops at home, and we've used Teams, we've used Zoom for the bigger groups. So it's worked really well.
Good.
United Talent would be one of our companies that have utilized a lot of the technology we pushed to you guys. So we appreciate that and good
Yeah.
partnership there.
We have tried it all, I think.
Nobody else going to share their video? We got 4 people sharing their video. There you go.
Shy.
Kingley.
Everybody's working from home in their pajamas, Dennis. They just got your message to business casual here. So.
I guess.
Like you guys got your shirt, you know, we got our sweatshirts and pajamas on.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anybody else? Nobody else, really. I must have done a really good job covering everything. Is everybody interested in any of the deeper dives that I mentioned, the Teams, Zoom? Whoop, Kingsley, or can you unmute? I don't know why it's not letting people unmute. Let me see. There you
Here
go.
we go. Even though many of us have a business continuity plan, there's nothing like a pandemic to see whether it works. And we went ahead and deployed our Palo Alto Global Protect VPN and started to notice our local users could map their network drives on campus and tracked it out to a Spectrum router setting that has proven consistent, from city to city, and that is a DNS forwarding setting in there. Other than that, we've been on Teams as a university, and oddly enough, I spent the wintertime doing trainings for both faculty and staff, and it makes you look like a god, as if you forecasted this sort of thing in advance.
Good job.
Now that we're working at home, it's getting a little bit shaggy here.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and keep an eye on your email. We'll send out a request for the meeting that we're going to have next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We'll keep it the same time, Tuesdays at 2. And next week's will be around Teams, a deeper dive into Teams. And then again, if you have any suggestions for other deeper dives around things that may help a lot of remote users, ping me or Derek, and we'll go ahead and put them on the agenda. If nobody has anything else, we'll go ahead and sign off. Again, if you're interested in any of the offers our vendors are offering, just send me an email and we'll get you on the calendar. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys. Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe.